Hello, I'm Lorraine White, and this is my first video in a while. I know it's been a minute, but I'm going to be talking about Universal Year 5, which is 2021. Okay, so 2021, before I go into 2021, I can't but mention 2020. I can't help but mentioning 2020 is what I meant to say. So 2020 I'm filming this in December 2020. It has been an extraordinary year full of surprises, changes, shock, frustration. But I also want to say it was also a life-changing year in a positive sense as well. There was opportunities, let's say, for growth in this year. 2020 was very much about laying foundations. It was a number 4 year. It was about laying foundations, hard work, and having to really get your stuff together to prepare yourself for the road ahead. So for many of us, obviously we were affected by lockdowns. There's a couple of lockdowns this year, and what it forced us to do is really be with ourselves, be with our loved ones, and really reflect on our lives, reevaluate what's working and what's not working. And that is the essence of the 4 energy. So as a result, we would have made some decisions. We would have been forced to make certain decisions to be able to continue and thrive in our lives, or just to function, to survive as well. In the last 3 months of 2020, October, November, December, many of you would have had different ideas come to mind. Ideas about how to move forward, ideas about how to survive. So I'm talking to those of you who maybe lost their job. So you would have been thinking about another kind of job, or even maybe working for yourself and started looking into this. Maybe creating an online business because of the situation that we found ourselves in this year. Some of you may be in relationships and you've had to spend time with loved ones in lockdown. For some, it may have been a good experience. For others, it may have been an experience whereby you realized that maybe this person wasn't or isn't the right person for you. And so you've had to make decisions according to that circumstance. Many of you would have experienced loss in terms of a bereavement of some sort, and I'm very sorry about that. But again, that brings in more decisions that you have to make in terms of how are you going to move forward from this. So overall, as I said, October, November, December would have been a time where lots of you would have been having ideas. And this kind of brings me nicely into the year 2021. Year 2021 is the number 5 year, and it is about change, transformation, freedom, being able to explore oneself. That is what the 5 is. And so I've always said that this whole year 2020 has very much been about preparing ourselves for the change that year 5 is bringing in. And we are seeing that change. I mean, many people are asking, is the world ever going to be the same again? And the answer is no. And I say that with enthusiasm, with excitement, because I want you to know that change is not always bad. Obviously, the circumstances that we found ourselves in this year have not been pleasant. It's been very frustrating, I will say, for many. But sometimes this is the process of change. We have to let go of what is not working for us. okay? And this is part of the preparation for year 5, and this whole process of letting go will continue into year 5, okay? Especially those of you who are resistant to change generally. So we're talking about the life path 4s and the 2s and the 8s. Specifically, if you don't know whether you are a life path 2, 4 and 8, just keep watching my videos. I'm going to be doing some more videos explaining more about those particular numbers. But you may be fighting with this 5, this being resistant to change because there's no structure and you may feel out of control. But I want to say, let go and let God and surrender, okay? And I'm going to go into that some more. As we move into year 5, many people, especially astrologers, and I'm not an astrologer, but they are claiming that we're entering the age of Aquarius, which, funnily enough, Aquarius is very similar to the energy of the 5. It is all about freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of mind, humanitarianism, being able to be oneself and explore oneself. That is Aquarius and that is the 5. So there's no coincidence that, we are entering the age of Aquarius at this time. Okay, so as we go into next year, 2021, there's going to be this issue of letting go, okay? And what I want to say as well is if you can let go and really look at yourself and think about what is not working and be really honest with yourself, let it go, okay? And the best way to do that, is to really connect with yourself. The year 5 is an opportunity to explore different ways of personal and spiritual development. Okay, so use that as your vehicle for letting go, connecting with yourself, perhaps doing more meditation and really being true to what your soul needs at this time. What is going to really fulfill you? What is really going to make you happy at this time? Being really true to yourself, because for some of you, it's going to be quite radical in terms of the changes that you have to make in order to stay sane, in order to stay stable. Okay? Just be really honest with yourself. Okay, the other thing that's coming in next year, and we've already started to see that this year, is the influx of communities, small groups and small communities. And we're seeing this, we've seen this last year with the amount of, Zoom, opportunities to Zoom in groups and little communities that have come together, spiritual communities, personal development communities, well-being communities that are coming together online. We're going to see that idea growing, okay? And I want to say that for those of you who are very conscious of the change, to really get involved in those groups, because that's really going to help you to grow and to feel like you're not alone, because the age of Aquarius and the 5 is very much, it's independent, but it's very much about, tapping into different groups of people, into different interests, different passions, to help you to feed your soul. This is what I want you to do for year 5. Feed your soul. We are going to continue to see extremism, and we saw some of that in 2020. So what I mean by extremism, we're going to see groups that are very sort of left-wing, groups that are very right-wing. If I use the example of COVID, for instance, we had the groups that were very for the vaccine, let's just use that as an example. So we've got groups that were very much for the vaccine, and we've got groups who are very anti the vaccine. There's 2 extremes, okay? We're going to see these extremes, the division over certain political ideas throughout 2021, because there's more things coming Okay, there's more ideas that the government, the authorities have that they're going to be trying to implement next year, and we're going to be seeing lots of extreme groups. Now, what I want to say about that is it is about finding your center, finding what's good for you, what works for you. Okay, when we have extremism, a lot of the time, whether it's extreme right or extreme left, it is very much motivated by fear. So if you can address your own fears about these situations, you'll find your own solution, which you can share with other people. And it will also impact the way that you get what you want from the situations that we find ourselves in. Okay, so if I give you an example, you may have extreme groups who want to go and smash up the place, to riot, to go and violate people in order to make a point. Okay, and then you've got the others who may not do anything at all. So it's like finding what works for you. Okay, that is not motivated by fear. So important next year. Everything is going online, as you've probably gathered. And so it's about looking at new ways to take your business online if you have a business, new ways of working from home. So doing it in a way that suits you, where perhaps you're not completely locked in. You take breaks, you do more exercise, you do what you need to do in order to stay within this confined situation. There's going to be more lockdowns as well next year. So it may be a thing that we have to get used to, but again, the more that you can do what feeds your soul, the more, and also ensure that the right people are around you, then the easier it will become. Okay? But I want to say that this year 5 is not a year to be fearful. It's a year to embrace the change and think, what can you do to make your life more exciting than it has been in 2020? How can you connect with people? For some of you, for many of you, it will be about doing something different, completely different. Change the way that you connect with people. Change the way that you date people. Change your type. Be really open to the opportunities that people present to you. Try not to, come out of the box. That's the 5 as well. Come out of the box. Do what pleases you. But also, the 5 is about freedom. It's not about anarchy. So anarchy can be quite destructive. Freedom is constructive because you're doing things to feed yourself, soul, to help yourself. You're not doing things that go against yourself or alter yourself. Like, okay, I'm going to be free. I'm going to, drink a lot. I'm going to take drugs. I'm going to, that is not freedom. Okay. I'm talking about the freedom that inspires you to do more and to be more. That's the type of freedom I'm talking about. And that's the number 5. Okay? So do things differently. Find different solutions. Okay? Being open to alternative ways of healing if you've got an illness. Look at alternative ways of growing, if you're getting over some kind of trauma, let's say, that's occurred in 2020. And when I say trauma, I'm talking about loss. It could be loss of job, loss of home, loss of a relationship. Okay? Just try and think of a different way of overcoming that to the way that you may have done that in the past, where you may have self-medicated. Now is the time to look at alternative ways of personal and spiritual development to help you to move forward a lot easier and a lot smoother. Okay? You can't go back. You can't go back to the past to find the solutions of the past to help with your future, with your present and future issues. It just doesn't work, especially in this whole landscape of change. Okay, so 2021 is going to be a good year. Affirm that. 2021 is going to be a good year. So I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions or want any more information, just drop a comment at the bottom in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. I am going to be doing more videos about your life path numbers, which I can't wait to share. Okay, so take care and thank you so much for listening.